Yemi Ajayi for the background report. And joining us now is Honorable Mark Esset. Is the Chairman, House Committee on Inter-Parliamentary Relations and a member of the House Committee on Petroleum Downstream, member representing Uyo, Uran, Federal Constituency. I mean, that name is tongue twisting. Claire.
well, he's here. He's here to help you out.
So he will help me out. So let me just avoid. Don't let me mother the name, please. All right. So, Honorable, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Also joining us is Honorable Segios Ogun, former member House of Representatives. Honorable, you're welcome to Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we also have Iyabage Yusuf Sani, who is a petroleum industry analyst, of course, familiar face in Good Morning Nigeria, and indeed, Honorable Ogun is also a familiar face, of course, here in Good Morning Nigeria. I think it's just Honorable Esset that we should welcome.
Unfamiliar face.
No, I will use that. We should welcome you. We should give you a rousing welcome. Yes.
Anyway, so
thank you very much for joining us.
So let's just start with him, Honorable Esset. Just give us an overview of the gas flaring prohibition and enforcement bill. Just an overview of it and its objectives.
Yeah, thank you very much. The bill, sponsored by my colleague, Honorable Jimmy Benson, has passed through the first and second reading. The bill, the general overview of the bill is it seeks to put a stop to this unwarranted gas flaring, which is life-threatening. And some penalties have been spelled out. There are some conditions, if there should be at all any reason for gas flaring. And the bill seeks to safeguard the environment and the citizens against this issue of gas flaring. It's a very wonderful bill. And when it was read the second time, it had the overwhelming support of all the members. So that is what the general overview about the bill.
Okay, maybe I'll just take it a little further, for clarification purposes, because this bill, if you can just itemize what it seeks, you have just said it's to stop flaring, the ordinary man would understand that. But in specific terms, what are the
objectives?
Yes, in specific terms.
The objectives, yes.
That is the objectives of the bill, as I've said, is to ensure that the issue of gas flaring is curtailed, and there should be the bill also seeks provide some punitive measures for anyone. That is one of the items on the bill that engages in gas flaring, companies that engages in it, and also penalties. It provides for penalties.
You know why I'm asking? Because I remember sometime in 2022, there was a gazette on the gas flare prohibition and pollution, regulation. It was gazetted, and that, stipulated penalties for those companies, that are flaring or even venting gas. And penalty, for instance, was moved from, I think, $0.3 or so to even $2. Yes, $2. So what makes this bill different from that?
Yeah, we are amending some of the sections, like the penalty for gas flaring, $2 for a barrel you flare. A company looking at the cost of converting the gas to resourceful product, which is more than the cost of the penalty, we rather prefer to flare the gas and pay the penalty. So, but this bill now seeks to bring stringent measures, more punitive actions that would deter you from wanting to pay the penalties, which is one of the key areas in this bill.
We need to dissect this bill that we know what
Well, maybe in the course of the discussion, we'll do that. So let's bring in...
I think that in every legal instrument, there's always something to expect. We will also allow him to, open up.
Yes.
What you say him as if he's not the one that brought the bill.
He's not.
Yes, but
As if you're a member of the ministry, you're not a member of gas committee.
No, I'm not a
So
member of
don't put him on the cruise.
I'm not a sponsor of the bill.
Exactly.
Well,
but
you are a
maybe
member of the
he
House.
will just explain.
No, and he's not even a member of the committee.
So being a member of the House is different, because when once a bill is sponsored, the sponsor of the bill has a vision of what he wants to achieve. If you make a contribution on the floor, it's based on your own understanding or what you feel should be.
Okay.
So
But
the details of the
but
bill.
that vision is bought by every member of the House, right?
Yes,
But-
at the point of second reading, which is the debate, what he does is just give you an overview. He's not going into the details.
Okay, but we will have the pleasure of knowing what you think and some of your colleagues, your own perspective to the bill. But let's bring
Concerning this bill. Now, I want Honorable Esset to respond to some of the issues raised by the guest here. The issues of the fundamental issues of metering, one, and also that of the reviewing the penalties, and whether this bill is actually necessary.
Yeah, thank you very much. You see, from what Mr. Saidude said about the metering, every progressive Nigerian will support what he has said. And it goes in line with the bill. Every action taken by the legislature is to see how we can cope this issue of gas flaring. Don't forget, we are not the executive. Executive implements. Of course, like we've all agreed, there have been other bills enacted to take care of this gas flaring. But how far has it been implemented? So any legislator that comes up will look at what he can do to help cope this menace. In terms of the only way he can do it is through bills and motion. We are not the executive that implements. So what the bill is to show the empathy of the House on this issue of gas flaring. We support every action. That metering is very, very important. Of course, if the equipments are there, if I really want to do business, if I want to make profit, and there are conditions, for me to drill, I must use ABCD instruments as used in other climates, in other countries. So what stops the enforcement agency from ensuring that for me to drill and say in this business, I must use what is provided? That's not the duty of the legislature. That's purely an executive responsibility. So where the executive fails, we come up and say, okay, the executive have not done A, B, C, D, E. Is there any way, through enactment of law, that we can help checkmate these excesses? That is what is happening. And that is what has given rise.
Is that where your oversight functions comes in?
In oversight functions, like we've heard here, there's been a joint committee set up, still on this issue. A report has been submitted. It's passed by the House. We don't enforce. Legislature don't enforce. So by the time we make reports to the enforcement agency, the executive, this is what we found out, this is what should be done. That is where our responsibility stops. So the problem in the country is not the law. It's the willpower, the political powers to do what is right. That is my opinion, and I hold it every day. We have every law that takes care of the problem of this country. But how many of our leaders have the willpower, the political powers, to say this must be done? And until and except this is done, you'll still go around, you'll see this is the 10th assembly, the 11th assembly will come. Members will have the zeal to look at how the laws can be amended. We are now moving from $2 to $5. Probably by the 11th assembly, someone else will come up with from $5 to $10.
At least we're making progress.
We are making progress.
Honorable Esset, thank you. Honorable Sogunle.
Talked about one issue that he raised, that the role of the regulatory agencies. Are you going to review their roles now to ensure proper implementation? Because that is key, to
We look at the rules,
problem
we look at
addressed.
the law that gives them the mandate, the responsibility. We look at it, definitely we're going to look at it. Because it seems the law does not permit them to bite. maybe they just sit down and be talking without action, which I don't think so. I strongly don't believe that is what the law.
Doing.
I don't think that is what the law. Not even the FCC. See, the problem.
It's about
like
our,
now we are
our,
in this room now. We are in this room now, and the regulation is that for this program to go on, the cameraman must be around. So time, so number of cameras must be on. That is what the law says. But you come in, the cameramen are not around, the timing, and somebody is there to make sure that this thing works, and not, the person does not carry out his responsibility. What happens?
That's the regulatory agencies.
So what do you do where the rules are not kept? What do you do? It's not the lawmakers. It's not our responsibility. That is the regulatory agency, is the executive. You want to come and drill, like we've all agreed, for you to start ABCD equipment, must you come, the regulatory agency come and see that you have this. This is what the law says. You must have the wellhead, metering, you must do this before they give you the license. So if these conditions are not met, how did you give the license? You see, the whole system is funny. There was a time in this country, an NPC would say that they don't have any money to declare to the Federation account. And we all kept quiet. And it went for months. But they are producing. Is it the duty of the lawmakers? We investigate and we come out with a report. Implement this. It stops there. So we need a divine intervention. That is the only way. Because talking about the laws, they are there. Talking about the laws, they are there.
I don't know why the white people are not asking for divine intervention.
Because like the chief here said,
Yes.
those IOCs in their countries, you dare not try venturing into business without meeting these conditions.
No, but it is not the IOCs. It is us. It is us.
Okay.
Yes.
It is us.
You have NAITI, you have NOSDRA, you have Federal Ministry of, you have all these people together.
And they are well empowered,
Yes.
right?
Man by
That's what you're
people.
talking about. NAITI can only recommend transparency.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
They can only recommend. They can only tell you, like,
You said something about executive.
Well, you have said it all. That I mean, we can as well employ technology for this. Now, because of our time, Honorable Esset, I know for sure that there are opportunities around this bill. So let's maybe in 1 or 2 minutes, what opportunities will the bill create, for Nigeria to transition to a more sustainable energy mix?
Yeah, the opportunities. One is that with the increment in the fine, it's going to act as a deterrent to companies that are very comfortable with flaring. So it will reduce gas flaring, save environment, and also revenue generation to the country. And secondly, is that it will open up the business space for this gas business, like the Honorable did say here, giving 2 different companies licenses. This one drill, you come and harness it. It doesn't work. You see what we did in the banking sector. We had millions, thousands of banks, and there was a time banks were meshed. But we have
consolidation.
Yes, for consolidation. So you can also do that. If a company is given a license, if you don't have, you can merge with another company that has the expertise in harnessing the gas while you do the drilling. Because giving 2 different companies, definitely there's going to be sabotage by one company to another. So with this bill, by God's grace, is a way of also, is our own little way and the sponsor's way of ensuring that this issue of gas flaring is brought to a stop in Nigeria.
Honorable, what do? We talked about
Industry analyst and engineer. Thank you so much for your contribution on Good Morning Nigeria today. Also, I want to thank Honorable Mark Esset, Chairman, House Committee on Interparliamentary Relations and a member of the House of Committee on Petroleum Downstream Sector. Thank you so much for your contribution. We want to thank you so much. Also, Honorable Segios Ogun, former member House of Representatives. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. And our Zoom guest, Yaya Seidu, a lawyer and also a researcher. Thank you for your contribution today on Good Morning Nigeria. Thank you.
All right, and that's Good Morning Nigeria for today. Thank you for joining us. I'll see you again tomorrow for another episode. I am Claire Adilabu Abdurazak.
And I am Ademola Adeoye. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day.